what if I told you that you might be entitled to between 14,000 to about 17,000 pounds a year, even though you already have a degree and you're about to do a second degree, and maybe that degree is medicine and you're not doing the accelerated route and you're doing the 5 to 6 years? That would be great, wouldn't it? Well, let's find out if you are entitled to that. Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Clarice. For those who don't know me, I am a mature student currently studying medicine at the University of Liverpool. Thank you so much for joining me today. So we are going to talk about numbers, because numbers are pertaining to money. Okay, money is one of the biggest issues that mature students are not able to fulfill their goals. So we are going to get into it and see what you might be entitled to. Okay, we're going to go into detail, a little bit detail, not too much because it's a lot of numbers, but hopefully it's going to help you to know that maybe there is some help and you might be able to actually go through it and finish the course and be able to achieve your dreams. Okay, so don't let money pull you off at first. Okay, so first thing first, before you apply, you need to know that student finance obviously has some eligibility criteria to all people who are going to apply. So you have to think about the university that you want to study at, and then you have to think about the course you're going to be studying, because the course determines whether you might get full funding or not funding. So there are courses that, like nursing, that might get a little bit more help than the others. And then you have to think about whether this is your first degree or second degree. And then you have to think about your age, because unfortunately if you're over 60 you might not get that much help. And then you have to think about your nationality. Are you British? Are you just visiting on a visa? Are you allowed any help? So all of those things, they do count. Okay, so let's say you fulfill those criteria. Now you can apply for student finance. The first thing you need to think about is obviously the tuition fees. In the UK, the majority of universities, they charge about 9,250 per year. Okay, so if you have already done a degree, and I'm thinking about mature students like me who want to do a course like medicine, and medicine not the accelerated route, the normal 5 to 6 years. The accelerated route actually gets full funding, so that's why it's so competitive. Believe you me, I've applied to that for like 10 years and I didn't get in, not even an interview. I'm still salty about that, but anyway, let's move on. Okay, so if you're doing medicine, let's say 5 to 6 years, then you need to think about where you're going to get the tuition fees, because student finance is not going to fund it, unfortunately. Okay, so where are you going to get that 9,250? You have to be creative. So what most people do, they take money that they might get from student loans and use that to pay the tuition fees, and then figure out how to survive, unfortunately. Okay, so if they can do it, you can do it too. Okay, so the first thing you might be entitled to is maintenance loan. Okay, so the good news is that you are entitled to maintenance loans even though you might have a degree already. Okay, so the maximum that you might get if you live outside London is about £10,227 per year. As you can see, like myself, if you were to be studying at the University of Liverpool, you can use that money to pay off the tuition fees and still have some change. If you live in London, you'll get a little bit more, which is about 13,348. So it is possible to still manage to pay your tuition fees. You just have to be a bit more creative. So once now you've used that money, how are you going to feed yourself? Most of the people, they get a job, they get a part-time job, and they just manage. I have to work to, you know, to fund my living costs, to fund my lifestyle. And so it's manageable, it's just very, very difficult. Okay, so with the maintenance loan, what you have to know is that it's based on household income. So if your household income is 25,000 and below, then that's when you're going to get the maximum, which is 10,227 or 13,348. Okay, if your household income is above 25,000, then your entitlement goes a little bit down. So another thing you need to know is that obviously if your household income is below 25,000, some universities give out grants. No, actually, no grants, bursaries. So like at the University of Liverpool, they give out £2,000 per year to those who are whose household income are under 25,000. Okay, so that's another good sum of money that you might find useful to use. Okay, and then another thing is that obviously with the bursary, you do not have to pay back. That makes it even, you know, nice, and you know, it's very nice that the universities do that. That's really helpful. Another thing, if you're a parent, you're entitled to more help. This one is a little bit tricky, and the criteria change. The thresholds, you know, are ridiculously lower, which is really puzzling, but you just have to take it as it comes, to be honest. So if, let's say, you're a parent, then you're entitled to what's called Parents Learning Allowance. For this year, you can get up to £1,963. That's a year. Again, you don't have to pay this money back. Okay? But then the household income, the threshold is lower than the maintenance loan. So as you can see, you can get the full amount if your household income is under 14,910 a year. And then if you go above 18,700 and about £40, then you don't get none of it at all. So as you can see, it's very tricky, and majority of people who have somebody who works at home, they're unlikely to get it. So, but you can still be entitled to it. So just apply and see what they give you, okay? And then obviously if you're a parent, that means you have a dependent. If you have young children who haven't started school yet, then you might be able to get childcare grant. Again, the grant is not payback. It's not a loan, so you don't have to pay back. Again, thank goodness, that's really helpful. But I'm not going to talk too much about the childcare grant, because obviously you don't really get the money. That you don't see that money coming into your bank account. That money goes straight somewhere in the sky, in the space, and the childcare provider is able to take money off it or request money off it, so you do not get to decide on how you can use that money. It's just there for childcare cost, and that's it. You have no authority to touch it. So I'm not going to get too much into detail about that, because I feel like I'm going to do another video basing my experience as a mother and studying medicine, and how that actually works and how much you might be able to get. Okay, so you might get childcare grant. And then another thing is, obviously you might have caring responsibilities. You know, you might be looking after an adult who depend on you, maybe, you know, a relative who's sick. You can get some help for that as well. And so the maximum you might get is about 3,354. Okay, actually no, 438. Okay, but all of that is based on the income, again, that comes into your house, and then their income as well. So it's not just they're gonna give it to you. No, they need to see if that person who depends on you also has some sort of income. So everything is just not straightforward, but you can manage to work out how much roughly you might get, and then figure out how else you will top up. Okay, so I know that was a lot of numbers, but like I said, you can be entitled to around 14,000 max to 17,000 max. So 17,000 when you're living in London, 14,000 when you're living outside London. Okay, so all that money comes from, you know, if you get the full maintenance loan, you get the bursary, and if you're a parent, you get the parents' allowance. Then you are able to actually have some money that you can begin to say, okay, I need to top up a little bit more without actually starting from scratch. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. Honestly, it's a lot. Again, it's a lot, but I tried to put it as easy as I can. Hopefully you found it helpful, and if you have any questions, let me know. If this was helpful, let me know. If it wasn't helpful, let me know. Nonetheless, like, subscribe, share, comment. It just helps the page, and you know, and hopefully I will improve and see how else I can help. But thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned, and I will see you next time. Thank you. God bless. Bye.